This this is reality over theory news. I want to explain about Hillary Clinton's connections and what laws she broke and why. And there's many more, obviously, but I'm just going to mention some major ones. Uh, Hillary Clinton established the Clinton Foundation as a 501c3 entity, I guess, with her husband. And supposedly, when you create a not-for-profit, generally the purpose of a not-for-profit is the reason why they give you that, allow you to have that status, is because it's not that you're not going to make a profit. You are going to make profits, but that's not the purpose. That's not the sole purpose of the organization. That's why they classified as a not-for-profit organization. If it didn't make a profit, obviously it couldn't exist. It couldn't stay in business. The issue is that when she created that foundation, what was her intention and her husband's intention to create that foundation? That foundation was created specifically to commit criminal acts. When she specifically designed that organization, it was to be used as a continuing criminal enterprise. It's a violation of law. There's a federal law called continuing criminal enterprise. But that's when you create an organization for the specific purpose of, or the main purpose is to commit crimes, to launder money, to do multiple crimes through it. Not only that, she created that organization with her husband. As soon as she got the position in the State Department, her husband was going around giving speeches on her area, speeches throughout to business leaders, money interests. He would go in other countries to do it. So, for example, if Mrs. Clinton, Hillary Clinton, what she did is she was making a deal with some Canadian individual that was dealing with mining and all that, and she made a deal with him, and she made a deal with indirectly where he could sell the interest, and he was working together with the Clinton Foundation. They were funneling money to it. So as Hillary Clinton was trying to pave the way to allow uranium mining interest in America and all that, and even elsewhere in Kazakhstan and other areas, to be able to allow this interest, this Canadian interest, to buy interest in these companies, and then later on he made a deal and he worked with another company, and later on it was found out to be Putin had interest in the company. A lot of times what people will do is they'll create shell companies, shell corporations, so no one knows who has controlling interest, who's involved in it, and everything else. So later on it was found out that, they knew anyway, but the public really didn't know that Putin had an interest in this uranium mining company. And what happened was they made a deal, and then now Putin has got interest in the United States with mining certain areas in the United States. The point is that, how did she get this through? She used the Clinton Foundation, where a foreign entity cannot give money directly to a senator or a politician as a campaign contribution, because it's a violation of election laws and multiple other laws. So what she did is she created the Clinton Foundation with her husband to funnel money through the Clinton Foundation. When people wanted deals made, they dumped money into the Clinton Foundation by giving donations as a pretext for philanthropy, for helping out humanitarian efforts and all this. And when they donated the money, many times shortly thereafter or shortly before that, Hillary Clinton was pushing legislation or co-sponsoring bills, or shaping policy so they could have their interest addressed. So it was many, many times over that she was doing this. So when she was using this organization, the Clinton Foundation, what it is she was violating the Foreign Corrupt Practices Act, which is pretty much a federal statute that was created, I think, in 1977, earlier, but it was amended. I think 98 it was amended to make it more comprehensive, because there was many loopholes. But anyway, what happened is the Foreign Corrupt Practices Act was created to prevent American companies to go abroad and pay off government officials, public officials, and to gain access to the governments or through contracts or, to bribe them. So, and then it became more comprehensive in 98. But what I'm stating is that Hillary Clinton's the Clinton Foundation is specifically set up for that purpose. It's got a front. It's a front organization, but what the organization is set up for is to launder money through, to take bribes under the Foreign Corrupt Practices Act. There's anti-bribery provisions, which she's violated multiple provisions of it. There's accounting provisions, which she violated, which is to ensure that you have a proper controls, accounting, controls over the books and the system to ensure that your financial statements and everything are in order, and that the system has a reasonable level of control, so there's no fraud, laundering, and everything else. But that's all she has done. She's laundered money through the organization, and what she's done also is she's destroyed the emails because she's been trading with foreign entities. She's committed espionage. She should be prosecuted. What they should do is they should change the law. Any politician that is selling out trade secrets out upon being, or any public official or civil servant that is selling trade secrets to foreign governments, foreign entities, if they're found guilty, they should be hung. They should have the death penalty for them, because what happened is these people that are in politics are in the government, and that many of these politicians on both sides of the parties, they're selling our government out. These are foreign powers. These are regular people representing foreign powers, and they're selling our government out. Not only that, what Hillary Clinton could be prosecuted for is under the RICO statute, the Racketeering and Influenced and Corrupt Organizations Act. It was created in the 1970s as a means to combat mafia, or la Cosa Nostra, which means our family. Now, Robert Blakey was a major contributor to the legislation. Years later, they asked him, does the RICO statute, or the RICO Act, does that apply to government or just mafia, traditional mafia? And he said no, because sometimes traditional mafia and government, you can't tell where one begins and one ends. So the RICO statute is to be broadly construed, where two or more people come together to commit a crime, and there's racketeering involved. There's predicate crimes, federal crimes like mail fraud, computer fraud, wire fraud, whatever you want to call it. And there's certain predicate crimes that link them, but they got broad powers. It's broadly construed. What they can use is co-conspirators hearsay exceptions. So if a co-conspirator makes a statement about the other conspirator in the entity, in the plot, if there's a conspiracy, there's a common design. If the other co-conspirators make statements, it could be used as a hearsay exception, because there's such broad leeway with RICO. You could expand the statute of limitations out. There's so many things you could do with the RICO statute. It's a very effective tool to prosecute Hillary in her organization. What they do is investigate her for laundering money, SEC violations. They should investigate her for lying to federal investigators. She blatantly lied to federal investigators. She committed perjury. There's multiple things they could get her for. She committed bribery. The Foreign Corrupt Practices Act is pretty broad. It could get her under civil provisions and under criminal provisions. The thing is, the reason why they're not prosecuting her is James Comey is a foreign power, or he represents a foreign power in our government. The FBI is corrupt beyond all means. Now, people could think that that's not true, but if you study the history of our government, we have people infiltrating our government that no longer represent what the original institutions were intended to be for. The powers that be have infiltrated our organizations, or allowed agents to infiltrate our organization and effectively overthrow it. So most of our institutions no longer represent what what it originally was. This is why the Tea Party, which is counter-revolutionary organization, not revolutionary, they want to bring back the institutions to the way they were formerly, originally when the founding fathers created it. This is why they're considered the enemy of the state. Christians are pro-constitutionalists, military personnel coming back, and anybody that emphasizes limited government is considered the enemy of the state. And this is why, because people inside the government are revolutionary. They're communist in the government, many of them, not necessarily all, but it's becoming so concentrated that it's almost impossible to stop unless the people become informed and they unite together and they stop it. Okay, thank you very much.